you, Sumi, for the introduction. Thank you, Q Berlin, for having us here. So when the war broke out on the 24th of February, I was shocked, as many of you, I suppose. But a shock was really, I think, something special for Estonians, because Estonia has been occupied by Soviet Union for quite a while. So we actually knew what's going to happen if Putin's plans go through. And, you know, for a civilian or maybe somewhat even a pacifist person, it's not clear what you should do during the military conflict. So we sat down with a group of friends and started really a bit of like problem solving. What could we do, or what should we do? And a couple of alternatives really like came about. For example, of course you can donate to an international huge like aid organization, but the problem there is that actually during the war their help might be a bit like slow, and also there's no transparency. You don't know if you donate, you know, how does it really reach the beneficiaries? And as those organizations are really big, the operations there also tend to be quite expensive. So another alternative would be you can join the army. Ukraine even has a foreign legion, but you know, we are entrepreneurs, business people, so no training, no experience actually being a soldier, so that was outruled as well. The easiest way to take actually is to do nothing. Basically, you can just hope that somebody else will take care of things. Maybe governments will solve the issue. But, you know, learning from the business, whoever chooses the comfort over progress, or maybe in this context chooses the comfort over freedom, actually doesn't deserve neither and will lose both. So we knew that something still needs to be done. And as a fourth alternative, of course, you could focus on humanitarian things, like maybe helping with the refugees, or maybe sending some food help or something like this. But when we looked into it, we saw that a lot of people actually are doing it already, and the problem there might be that you're dealing with the consequences. I mean, it doesn't really stop the war, the humanitarian side of things. So, somewhat to our surprise, we came to a solution that actually we will need to support the Ukrainian army. So we set up a sort of like initiative with 5 guiding principles. First of all, we supply only stuff that is needed and asked by the army. So we don't send anything, you know, just in case. We believe that the soldiers actually know what do they need, and we should send exactly those things. Then we also try to send things only to validated beneficiaries, so that we understand who is actually getting the aid and how will they use it. We also try to be fast. During the first days of the war, actually, we were able to deliver some of the equipment in 5 to 7 days. We also provide constant information for the beneficiaries, how we are processing their requests, and we also provide reports for all the donors. And also importantly, we don't use any of the funds from donors for our overheads or management. And so far we have been able to deliver around 1 million worth of stuff to the front lines. It's mainly cars, the 4-wheel drive cars, but also a lot of other equipment. And we have supported maybe around 40 units so far, and we actually believe that it has made, this tiny micro help has made a difference, because even President Zelensky has honored and acknowledged some of the units that we have supported.
I would just ask you to grab a microphone for Ivar, perhaps. Thank you for that presentation. I'm curious to ask, after seeing this, I mean, you talked about the difference between military aid and humanitarian aid with civilians. I mean, what made you decide to go with aid to troops?
Well, I mean, I don't think there's like a difference. Both of them are needed. However, we're trying to see like what is missing right now. And we saw a lot of people are already dealing with the humanitarian side of things. But as told, I mean, this is somewhat dealing with the consequences. So we were trying to figure out what could be the type of help that could really stop, what is going on right now.
Ivar, what's your take on that? I mean, did you have any moral dilemmas? Did you face any dilemmas in the type of aid that you're providing?
Actually, no. How this all happened that we have a very good friend and a colleague of Riivo in Ukraine, and he just asked help with a couple of cars, and next day we actually bought 7 cars and drive this to the border of Poland, and that's all. That kind of action needed, and personally me, I don't took time to decide that if this cars is the best way to help them or not. You just need to act, and this took a bit different measures, our like first action.
And why these cars specifically? These pictures we're seeing of vans and SUVs. I mean, what was told to you there? Why they specifically are needed?
Well, they are needed for basically increasing the mobility of the troops. They're used in different operations. This could be evacuation, but also like different battle situations. In many cases, actually, we do not exactly want to know what they're used for, but yeah, usually they are just units that help with the mobility.
What do you mean by that? You don't exactly want to know what they're used for?
I mean, we don't know exactly like which operations they go to and stuff like this, but we will learn actually afterwards because we keep contact with all of the units that we support.
The question I'm wondering, maybe some of you are as well, shouldn't this be the task of governments?
I think governments are also helping already, but the thing with the governments is that they tend to be slow, and we have backgrounds in technology, and their things need to be fast. So we're trying to do it lean and fast.
How long do you think you can keep up this type of support and solidarity with Ukraine?
Hopefully until the end. Happy Victory Day. So of course in the 6 months, and this is hard work to get cars and to get donations. So this is kind of floating our energy. But what is good that we have like group of 10, and some of us looking for money, others preparing the cars, because average car cost is 5,000, and we thought we adding like 2,000 per car to just be sure that this is kind of prepared to drive 100 kilometers per hour in a field. That's why this our team is actually not professionals in this kind of car business at all, but we have learned and engaged people who understand.
Engaged people. Well, Riivo, Ivar, thank you very much for sharing that interesting mission, United Delivery Mission, and for joining us here on stage. Thank you very much. Connected to that topic that we just discussed, we want to share a video with you now. It features artists in Ukraine who have been working on camouflaging cars and videos that have been entering the country. And this video was just shot last week, so take a look.
Hello, my name is Taras, and my artist name is Saint, one of the oldest graffiti artists in Ukraine. I started to paint around 1994, 1995. As you know, now there is a war in Ukraine against Russia, and I had an opportunity to use my skills in some good way. First car I started to paint in 2014. We started to paint trucks again because our army and our soldiers need to be mobile on the front. It's completely different to painting graffiti on the walls. It's kind of set background in my mind because I know that these cars will go to the front line and they may never come back again. All the time we ask the advice of the soldiers what colors will be better for them and what shapes of camouflage will be good. Now autumn is coming and I had idea that colors of camouflage should change. I'm kind of person who likes to make things good, especially things I have skills to do. So now when I paint cars, I feel kind of responsibility and honor to do this contribution to our army and be part of this, let's say, creative team, creative soldiers. One time I even had a question from one guy who was passing by when I was painting. Like he said, why you painting this car so precisely as if you're gonna sell this car on the market? And I told him that this car will go to the people who are in very hard conditions, and at least it's an honor from my side to them to provide them a nicely painted car. Maybe I'm a little bit naive, but I cannot just make whatever and please guys be happy with these cars. I want them really to be happy and enjoy, and I want all them come back alive. I'm always checking with volunteers who deliver these cars to the front line if soldiers who will drive these cars at least had some little smile on the face. Of course, everybody wants the war to stop as fast as possible, and we would prefer to paint more peaceful graffiti walls instead of painting cars. For us, this is a little bit tie-in psychologically, but I think it's not only for Ukrainians, but also for many people from the world. World economy is suffering in some way, but economy we can rebuild, and the people who died, they will never come back to life.